And in 3, 2, 1, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 85 of the Prehistoric Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois Nation.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
I am the ghost that hath no name.
Big news.
Casper. Yeah, okay.
Big news for us here at Prehistoric Productions.
Exciting day today.
Very exciting day today. We were in the middle of another shoot for a good friend of the podcast and future guest, as you'll see in the 12 podcasts of Christmas, Paul Kuzbik. We're filming his acoustic video for the month of December, and we get a very awesome email. Now, Brad, why don't you tell us what that email said, seeing as you were the one who read it?
Anyway, apparently, what?
Got my fucking watch.
Oh, apparently, VizTech's got great Cyber Monday deals. It's Cyber Monday today, and they got 20% off a lot of camera gear and accessories.
Who started Cyber Monday?
Check them out online. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I want to say Amazon.
Probably Amazon.
You'll
We got the grant. We got the grant for our much.
Have we ever talked about it?
No.
Yeah, we did.
When? No.
I don't think we talked it. We may have mentioned it briefly. I don't think, maybe not. We applied for a grant for our brand new animated series. Should we tell them the title of it?
I don't know. Are we gonna announce what? Are we gonna? Are we announcing this on social media? Or are we gonna be like, hey, we got this fucking thing?
Should we do that? Like,
Yeah.
Part of me is like nervous because it's like the T's aren't crossed and the I's aren't dotted, but it's all. But it's like,
no, as long as we deliver it.
as long like the thing is like they're obligated to give us the money if we fill out the things they tell us.
Exactly.
So the only way we don't get the money is if we don't. We all die or
we die.
No, not overdose. Just die. Like you can overdose without dying.
Even if wouldn't they give us the money then?
No, if we can overdose and then still fill out the forms they gave us.
I was gonna say why is.
I'm just saying a lot of times
you wouldn't be capable of doing so.
You'd be surprised. I do my best work overdose. Yeah.
You take about 12 or 13 Benadryl and just go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So we got this grant to make our debut. Well, I guess not debut.
Yeah, I mean...
We're making a thing, and they gave us money to do it. Cheers.
Okay. That's the announcement, I guess.
No, that's not the official announcement.
Is the booze the stringy stuff at the top? Like, I guess it's all stringy up. No, it looks clear at the bottom.
I think that's Brad's jizz.
Oh, boy.
Didn't he tell you he likes to jizz in
Is
cups?
booze lighter than Sprite?
Liquor, are you kidding me? I barely even know her.
It's a funny joke.
I didn't shut the furnace off again.
You should do that quick.
The problem is that we filmed so many of these in such a short period of time this season during winter that he's going to try it. He's going to try it. That turning the furnace on and off becomes a hassle.
A what?
A hassle.
Oh.
It becomes a real hassle. So very exciting nod of confidence to us from Creative Saskatchewan.
I think it's the first time I felt this
Good.
Your money is now our money.
I feel very legitimate now.
Spend it on booze.
Like a legitimate Saskatchewan creative entity has now given us a nod and said, "Yeah."
Has Bamboo Shoots gotten money to make a thing?
I don't fucking know. Probably.
We have no idea.
They haven't made a feature film or like a creative. Like they've done other stuff, but not like.
Maybe in Vancouver.
Well, that's Angel Entertainment. That's separate. That's
I
like
have no idea.
the parent company to their.
Regardless.
Well, nobody makes feature films in this province. Like I can't think like Wolf Cop. Like what other feature films are even made here? Fucking.
But I mean, it wasn't made by Saskatchewan. Oh, it was. Yeah, it was.
Fucking. What's
Well, they're not Saskatchewan.
Armageddon.
Corner Gas movie.
The Corner Gas
movie.
But again, those are made in
No,
Saskatchewan.
made in
Saskatchewan by not Saskatchewan companies.
Oh.
Right.
Like a Saskatchewan director made Wolf Cop, but it's not like he's still fucking here making movies.
No, it was Brent Butt's
Wolf Cop
production
2.
company, I believe.
Oh, that's so embarrassing. At the end of Wolf Cop, they have like Wolf Cop 2 coming out 2015.
It never came out?
Never came out.
Really?
Never. I don't even think they started production or anything. Like, that was just one of those blow your load way too fast.
Oh, what else? There was something else that was made here.
Oh, Eli's Lesson. And Guitar Man. Feature films.
Yeah. Well, no. One of them was... I think they're both made for TV movies. But
Features. Now, your feature presentation.
I think it should be a mandatory thing in this province. If you're going to make a feature film, you have to have seen Eli's Lesson and The Guitar Man.
Yes.
Before you do so. And Fran, seeing as you haven't, you're going to have to watch them before we make...
Oh, I'll watch them. Nothing is better than watching a good, bad feature film to make you feel like
maybe we'll watch Eli's Lesson next episode of the podcast.
Is it public domain? Do you think we get permission?
I don't think that the people who would try and stop us would.
Well, I'm just saying it's nice.
Well, no, but I mean, again,
it'd probably be easy to get permission. We just call somebody and be like, "Hey, can we watch this fucking movie?"
We don't really need it because of we're technically doing a reaction video. We don't need permission. It's fair.
Well, I mean, are we showing the movie?
Yeah, but we're still commenting over it. Like there's clear precedent. There's clear precedent in that it's fair use. If you're commenting and
movies are.
And I would think
tough
watching
that
the
way.
whole
Like
movie.
nobody
then you
does
could just
movies.
watch
People
that
do
to watch it for
trailers.
free.
They don't do movies. Like the only movie show I've ever seen that they comment is like there's Mystery Science Theater 3000, and then
And Channing Tatum's Ballsack.
the Rooster Teeth guys started doing their own called Theater Mode, but they get the rights to exhibit those movies like while they're talking about them.
right. Okay.
I just don't even know if anybody who was participating in the
Well, no, I don't think anybody
still
would
alive.
care
You don't
enough.
think Ken DeWalt?
How long is it?
Mind's Eye
How
Production.
old is it? Sorry?
Like from the 80s and the producer was...
No, from the 90s.
So whatever, the producer was still like been in his 50s. He could easily be dead by now.
No, he wasn't in his 50s. Well, he is now. He graduated from Luther in when the Luther film program first started in like the late 80s when Mr. Wilmot was. That's why he had such a hard on for it, because it was like this kid who graduated from the Luther film program.
I don't, but
then
he
went
wasn't
on
like
to start
25
Mind's
when
Eye
he
Production.
He wasn't 25 when he made Eli's Lesson. Did he make both, or did he just make Guitar Man?
I'm pretty sure both.
No wind?
No, our neighbors do crazy stuff.
They're probably furries.
No, speaking of watching movies to make you feel good about yourself, so the Rooster Teeth people made a feature film called Laser Team, and they made a sequel recently. I watched that sequel, and my goodness, like that's the best you could come up with. It's just like I was watching it, I felt so confident.
And you're biased the other way, like you really like Rooster.
Oh, I love them. I love most of their content, and I really like the stuff they do. But it's just like,
It's great.
I think I'm biased in it. Well, unless it's with Peter Jackson, like that's just a totally biased. He could do anything, and I'll just think it's great because like I'm just way too far gone at this point. But I mean, with them, it's like I'll call them out if it's bad. Like Laser Team.
Yeah, but
is
I mean,
not,
like them versus somebody else, like they get more leeway, obviously, as just a personal bias.
Yeah, you're right, true.
And
but,
so, like, it's a great show.
Like I watched Laser Team.
It's a great show of character for you to be like, I dislike this thing, and I'm not clouded by liking their.
It's just very disappointing, I guess. It's like you expect, because like I said, they're funny people. I enjoy a lot of their content, but then that comes with a caveat of like, if you're gonna do a movie, this thing is supposed to be a culmination of sorts of like it took you so long to get to this point where you can make a feature film, and like it needs to be of a certain caliber then to feel like it's part of that journey or that like rise, and it doesn't feel like part of a rise. It feels like we made a movie because we could. No, not even status quo. It's like we were able, so we did, and it's like the subject matter isn't interesting. It's mostly not very funny.
Well, it's like they talk.
There's like 4 or 5 lines in it that's like
Lots of bands get criticized for that, like after they make their first couple albums, because then their life becomes all about touring, and it's like whereas before they had like a message and a thing they were talking about. Now they're just, because all they've experienced is touring, their music just becomes this unrelatable dreck about what it's like to be away and like touring, and I think it goes back to like part of that could be because I know Rooster Teeth went from being, you know, they'd experienced a lot before they started Rooster Teeth.
Oh yeah, like Bernie Burns,
Team,
like that's one thing that blows my mind still when I think about it. The guy who sort of like the guy, the main guy, the guy who started the whole thing. He was like 31 when they started doing Red vs. Blue, like started like not successful, like yeah. So that's crazy to think like he's I don't know like there's 13 years in, so like he's 43 or 44 I think at this point, and like that blows my mind. It's like because we sometimes like Andrew and I especially, we get kind of impatient with the pace of things sometimes, and then it's like that motherfucker was 31 when he's not getting success, like started right when he started.
Yeah. And
like that's kind of crazy to think about. And like I think they had like 10 employees up until like their 8th or 9th year of business, and then they just hired like hundreds of people because they like started an animation division and like a whole bunch of shit. But no, like I said, it's I bring up the movie, I should say, podcast people, because we're sort of in like the we're thinking about doing a movie maybe sometime. We'll see what happens.
We've been thinking about doing a feature film since before we started this.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of, it's not that
it's a little more serious now.
It's not that we haven't been thinking about this the whole time. We're actually taking steps to make this happen.
Get that happen, yeah. So it's like, so while
we're doing Cars 4, there I said it.
We're doing Cars 4.
Yeah.
I don't know why Picture thinks we can do it, but they were just like they contracted us.
You need to be the guys to do this.
They said need.
They're like,
weird thing to say.
We've been making Cars movies shittier every movie.
I don't agree.
And people.
Cars 1 was
awesome,
pretty good. Cars 2 was not good. Cars 3 was actually okay.
I didn't like Cars 3.
It was better than 2.
But like a steaming turd in the microwave was better than.
Yeah,
Cars
but I'm saying
2.
you said they got progressively worse.
Here's what we're gonna do for all the viewers out there who aren't you guys and me.
You didn't see Cars 2 or 3?
I didn't see either. Explain to me the plot of Cars 2.
That's a tough one.
Just like really brief.
Mater gets hired by the British Secret Service.
Yeah, to be like a secret agent tow truck.
I can't remember why that he becomes an agent. Some mistake of some type happened and he becomes a secret agent. There's this legion of lemon cars in Britain that they don't really work too good. Well, lemon cars. But and they are like, hey, we're sick and tired of people not treating us seriously, so we're gonna fucking blow up the World Trade Center. No, they don't actually.
Oh my!
But
that was really applauded.
So
this alternate universe where instead of
an inside job by the U.S. government,
it was actually a terrorist attack that blew up the world.
So they want to do some crazy thing where they want.
You really had me. I actually thought that they were going to attack the World Trade Centers.
No,
for a second, like right away after that, I was like, they can't.
They can't. I think their plan is to make.
We're not aiming for the truck.
I think their plan is to make all other cars lemons too. So they have this big scheme to do that, and then Mater has to stop them or whatever. It's very weird, and I don't understand why they thought combining Secret Service James Bond shit with
probably because they couldn't get Owen Wilson.
Not in it?
I think he might have a line at the beginning or something.
They couldn't. They, for whatever reason, they probably couldn't get Owen Wilson, so they had to find a way.
They just like.
Right.
They totally did Mater was cute and funny, and now he can get his own movie real quick, and then we'll make some more money.
But it's like,
you know what's a great
I don't even
example
disagree
of
with that. But like, why do a secret agent movie in the UK? Like, what the fuck does it have to do with being a fucking tow truck? Like, this doesn't make any sense. It is very weird. I guess I get it. Like, James Bond is very. He's kind of that was the first franchise to really bring cars into the mainstream, like movie wise, because of Aston Martin.
Well, they're kind of trying to combine the whole like. Get smart, like funny secret agent thing, and it just was a jumble.
I mean, kids probably love it.
Should that have been the death of Cars then?
Well, I don't think Cars even like a lot of people would argue that Cars. A lot of people don't even like Cars. Cars is one of the like the Pixar movie that I think was like, I enjoy Cars. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't know why, but a lot of people see Cars as the beginning of Pixar's decline. Like before they started doing the sequels, but it's like that was the first movie they were like, wasn't like 100%.
I mean, some people didn't like the second Monsters Inc. and to them I say fuck you. It was good.
University. I never saw it either.
It was actually quite good. It was one of the better Pixar
I'm gonna crush
sequels.
that tonight.
It's actually quite a good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Is it a prequel?
Yeah.
You know what else I really liked? You know, a great example of like a character that didn't deserve its own movie was those stupid fucking Minions.
Yeah.
Despicable Me.
The first one.
The second one even is fine, and the third one was fine too. Like not good, but like as far as like a kids movie sequel, But
I just hate I don't even mind
stupid
kids
Minions.
like it because that kind of makes sense, I guess. But for me, all the adults like the Jeeba, like that's really funny. It's like your brains are melted
adults.
and you need to go to school. And
there's all those books.
It is weird that a lot of adults enjoy that.
There's a whole subreddit devoted to Minion hate. It's called Our Minion Hate, and it's like saw this on Facebook. It's like someone will post like a Minion meme, like
I got it.
Mondays are bad, and it's like.
I hate them.
It's just.
I don't know if I hate them.
They're just such an obvious.
I think they're funny. Like I just don't like.
To me, it's just a very obvious we can market the fuck out of it.
They're like the little green men in Toy Story. It's like I don't hate them or love them, but it's like
I like the aliens because they're such a small
but like
thing.
I said, it's not. It's got nothing to do with love or hate or whatever. It's just like they're in the movie, they do the thing, it's fine. Why is there this fucking legion of fans that love these things? Like, why is it? But I'm saying they're essentially the same thing. There's lots of them. They say kind of funny shit.
The Minions are the
little green men.
Except they progressively become more part of the Despicable Me movies. Kind of.
Yeah.
And then they get their own fucking movie.
But in the first movie, they serve the same purpose. Like, it's like, they're just kind of these funny little, there's lots of them. They have this legion mentality,
Well, it's funny because they're Gru's army. He's supposed to be this super villain. He's like cute little imbecile helper things that don't really.
Who is
can't
he?
really
Will
do
Ferrell?
Much. No, Steve Carell.
Oh right.
That's actually one thing I can't stand. It's just the accent he does is not convincing.
It's not supposed to be convincing. That's what's
I mean, I got over, but it's like it's weird. It was weird. It was a weird casting choice, I guess.
Probably because Drew, obviously I have a young son. He likes animated movies, and by far.
Have you even tried showing him Gone with the Wind?
It's a long movie.
My God,
it's long and pretty inappropriate.
It's like 2.5 hours.
For a 2-year-old. But of the ones that he watches, the ones I actually enjoy watching and rewatching because that's what you have to do with a kid. Unfortunately, he mostly has pretty good taste. Toy Story. He loves fucking Toy Story, which is getting a little bit old now.
You got a friend.
So that.
So I don't like. Does it?
My dad'll die. My dad.
We'll tell you.
Will you put a movie on and he'll say no, I don't want to watch that? Really?
He'll be like, no, watch something else.
That's crazy.
We won't say something else, but he'll say, watch. And I'm like, okay, put something else on. He's like, yes.
That's so weird. It's like, what the fuck are you even getting from this? Like, what do you care?
Because he's smart. He knows what he wants to.
But it's like, but what I'm saying is I wonder what he's looking for. Like what? Well, it must be specific characters, I guess. Like he likes the look of a character or something.
He's not a little baby anymore. He understands stories parts where you're supposed to laugh. He turns to me and laughs and is like, look at this part. It's funny. And he's it's not just
I mean, yeah, he's got a very good comprehension of the English language.
It's not just bright colors and sounds. He actually is comprehending and understands when something's sad. He doesn't like watching The Lion King.
But today it's I know people who are my age who are fucks who don't know how to watch or won't watch anything but the same 4 fucking shows.
Repetition, but he definitely likes repetition. I have to slowly introduce new things to the repertoire because if it was up to him, it would be Big Hero 6, Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, The Incredibles, Megamind, and that would be it.
Really? Those are good ones though.
Yeah, Megamind is my favorite by far.
Megamind?
So good.
Is that Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell, Brad Pitt.
I'm a blue guy. I'm a blue guy.
My giant blue head, and it's Will Ferrell, Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, Tina Fey.
Greatest Pixar movie of all time, Andrew, go.
Probably Inside Out.
Whoa, Fran?
Well, maybe it would be between Monsters Inc. and Inside Out for me. I haven't seen the newest one that's supposed to be insane. That Coco movie that like, it's the #1 movie that's ever happened in Mexico.
I know I won't. Not that I won't like it. I know that it definitely won't reach the pantheon because like I'm just not interested in Mexico. I'm sorry, in any way.
You don't like the Dia de los Muertos?
No, I just like it. No, it's not that I don't like it. It's like it's fine. It's just like. It's like same Age of Empires 3. Same thing. Same as Age of Empires 3. Fine game. Just not really interested in subject matter.
The climate's so much warmer.
Yeah, like you could vacation there so good.
Yeah.
In Mexico?
Yeah.
Maybe if the climate's warmer, that I don't have to make vacation in Mexico. I could vacation closer to home, because then the climate will be the same, right?
We're saying like, why would you hate Mexico? Because you can vacation there.
I don't hate Mexico. It's just like I'm not really interested in. I like Aztec
quote
culture.
From Francois Denishin. I hate Mexico and Mexicans. Francois Denishin, 2017.
Fair play. No, I'm trying to think.
Best Pixar movie, go.
I always forget like The Incredibles is also.
That's the thing is like The Incredibles is the one I want to say right away, but I just gotta think.
I don't like that at all. Like with the big blonde guy and the stretchy wife and the fast kid. It's not The Incredibles.
Yes. Like,
it's a good fantastic.
I hate it so much. And
you're just wrong. You're just wrong. You're wrong.
I gotta think.
I hate superhero power families. It's like.
You're just wrong.
It's like, it's a fast baby. It's like, oh,
no, the baby doesn't have powers.
Like, it might as well be Spy Kids.
The first Spy Kids.
Junior Cortez.
The first Spy Kids was awesome, and don't say anything different.
I like the second one a lot, too.
From
what I remember.
That's the island one. That's the one where they go to the island.
Island of Lost Dreams.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since I was 10, so I take that with a grain of salt.
Spy Kids 3D is where it went downhill.
I saw that live.
Seeing it in the theater was amazing.
I saw all of them live in theaters.
I like seeing it in the theater. I remember as a kid, I loved Spy Kids 3D. I thought it was great.
I remember it was someone's birthday party. We went to go see Spy Kids in theaters, and you went to the concession stand and got one of those little fucking.
I saw it at Ryan Spence's birthday party.
You got one of those little boxes where it's like the little drink and a little candy and a little pile of popcorn.
And the glasses were were themed that way. Pixar. Which one did I enjoy the most? I gotta think. Which one's your favorite? Toy Story, Bugs Life, Toy Story 2.
No, Ants is DreamWorks, isn't it?
Ants is DreamWorks. Ants is better than Bugs Life. Big time.
Ants is just totally different.
But that's why. But it's just like it is a way more interesting movie.
It is.
It's not really. It's not really a kids movie. Also,
no, it's
which
not.
is why I think it's better.
Like Ants is very much or Bugs Life is very much a kids movie. Ants is like it's like there's a graphic war scene where he's like it's like he has post traumatic stress disorder.
And I just like they're slugging, they're pounding drakes, and getting drunk, and they kill each other.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty graphic.
Thousands, they're trying to drown millions of them.
Yeah,
it's a movie about genocide.
Yeah, but why are they trying to kill them, drown them all?
No, not they. It's just the general guy wants.
Why does he want to kill them all?
Because of eugenics. Like they're trying to make a stronger
race
of the army soldiers. Like it is literally a movie about genocide, eugenics, like drinking and like drinking drug and alcohol abuse and sex.
Man, that movie's awesome.
Like pretty short of actually really delving into those
fuck
topics.
Pixar movies. Everybody should go out and watch Ants right now. Again.
Like they get to the top and like they're trying to get the queen out and like the guy's like, "Der fasten vierten Hasgeraten, Britzvaten," and they're like, "What?" And then he goes back to English with like just for a little bit. If you listen to close, he's like, "Mix Vaten, Gross mit vierten Satten."
Why can't I think of more Pixar movies right now?
Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo. Big Hero 6.
FN's pretty good.
No, Big Hero 6 isn't Pixar. That's just Disney.
Oh, it is just Disney, right?
Finding Nemo. I think. I don't know if it's my favorite. I think it's the best movie they've done.
I like Finding Nemo. It was good, especially at the time. It was fucking groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we were getting my dad was putting in our theater room.
God, DreamWorks might be my more studio I like better.
Really?
For animation?
They don't really do
Shrek?
Like Shrek was so good.
Shrek was awesome.
Shrek 2 is good too.
The second one was okay. It was good. It was
I just like Shrek 2 was good because they took the Puss in Boots thing way
too far after that. Yeah.
But that movie, it was still good.
Oh
and
yeah,
funny.
Antonio Banderas was great when he was great. Yeah. They brought him in. I don't know if either of you guys saw these.
Because then there was like 15 Puss in Boots movies and Puss in Boots
there's
merchandise,
only one Puss
and
in
they
Boots
rename Mike Myers Puss in Boots in real life.
Legally renamed Puss in Boots.
What another storied career that just shit the bed. Mike Myers.
They never shit the bed. He just kind of quit.
Well, because apparently he's a cunt to work with.
Really?
Well, yeah, it's tough when you have that level of success that... But like, fucking, he did Wayne's World when he was like 30.
Wayne's World. Well, he did like So I Married an Axe Murderer way before anything.
Well, Wayne's World was before that, wasn't it?
Maybe or during, yeah.
But like he was not
movies,
he was not young. Like he was like 30 and Dana Carvey was like 470.
Yeah.
So like I don't fucking know. It's weird how old Dana Carvey is. It's uncomfortable.
Like Love Guru was atrociously
bad.
bad.
So bad.
Every 2 episodes we talk about how bad Love Guru was.
It is so because I fucking love Mike Myers, and that's such
all the Austin Powers
such a
movies
black
are,
spot.
All the Austin Powers
There just
movies are
needs to
good.
be one more Austin Powers
There's
movie,
no bad
and then
Austin
they can
Powers
stop
movie.
making them.
Yeah, well,
It would be nice to do
Because there needs to be a conclusion because they just threw so many curveballs at us right at the end. It's like, he's your father and your brother, and you're a half brother to him.
And now Scotty's now Dr. Evil.
And it's like, oh, rip the credits, and the career's over.
I gotta say, it's not
Come get me.
It's not an awful place to finish because Goldmember was very strong. So that is a very strong finish. If it never happens again, like I'm not that upset. It would be very nice to see it one more Austin Powers movie. Because I feel like that was the plan.
For the longest time, like they were talking about an Austin Powers movie entirely from Dr. Evil's perspective, and like.
See, that stuff doesn't interest me as much. Like I want to see
an actual Austin Powers.
Just
movie.
another. I just want to see another Austin Powers movie.
I just don't think the characters are fully done yet. Because the third one concentrated so much on the side characters.
I just have no faith in Mike Myers' ability to execute a good one.
Like Love Guru just destroyed all of that.
Yeah, and it's just been so long now. It's just like I can't see how.
You think?
Yeah, it's just like sure. How can you stick in that frame of mind when you were doing that stuff was like 15 years ago? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
I will always give a vote of confidence to the man who can write that monologue from Dr. Evil at the fucking.
But they say it's like the
child psychologist.
The tall, like farther the fall. Like I mean, that's the thing is like the potential then. Because I agree with you. It's like he's brilliant, and all his movies are not all of his movies, but most of his movies are brilliant.
All but one of them.
All one of them are brilliant, and it's like
even Wayne's World 2, which is like arguably like not great, is still like good.
There's a lot of scenes in it that are very like, for lack of a better term, like very original and very like very clever.
I know you don't like Wayne's World in general, but
yeah. What's my stance on Wayne's World? My stance on Wayne's World is like. There's a lot of it I find irritating, but I like a lot of scenes. Like there's a lot of shit that I think is
the Bohemian
funny.
Rhapsody scene is one of the most iconic scenes.
I love that.
Ever.
And I also love like when
Dana Carvey
makes the jelly donut guy and then he stabs the guts and he's like,
yeah, that's what I like. I think a lot of people don't like this, but I think it's funny when they're at the club and then he like the guy's like. Fuck you, buddy. And he's like, I'll be back. And then he like leaves and he builds like the fucking taser.
He's just like zaps with it.
Like, it's like, what? Why? And like the cop who, like, what does the cop say to them when they're in the thing? Like, I can't remember, but it like.
Figure says what?
Well, but what does the cop say to them where he's like, you kids have been. I can't remember. But there's a lot about it if I find it. I don't. There's a lot about the way. It's like you can tell it was made in this era of MTV TV where it's like. Loud and loud and loud and loud, and it's like okay,
Wayne's
fucking
World,
loud.
Party time, excellent.
Yeah,
near.
I don't find that terribly endearing because I think it was made in a time when that was the style.
Because
I don't think it holds up very well.
Well, it's because it's a parody of MTV. Is basically what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, it doesn't play that. It doesn't play that way to me. I mean, it's because I don't know.
If you know the SNL characters, that is what they were doing with the Wayne's World show.
And I guess like in context, it technically works. I guess it's just like out of if you just watch the movie, like it just doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
As well, I don't know.
Another scene I just remembered. I'm gonna give you a scene I don't like and a scene I do like. I never thought the sketch with him pissing to keep the fountain going while he's trying to plug the
Oh,
fountain
and
back
I
in.
also, but I don't think pissing and shitting is funny.
Like, that's so funny.
I just didn't think it was that funny. I liked the pissing when they first unfreeze him, and he keeps pissing, and the lady keeps going, reanimation, and then he pisses again. It's like, reanimation, and then he pisses more. I thought that was funny. Scene I love is when he's speaking Japanese, and the subtitles keep interfering with the background.
That is brilliant.
Brilliant. It's like white and black bookshelf, and it's like, you want to look at my nuts?
It's funny because that started. It's funny because that started in Wayne's World.
With which one?
With his Chinese girlfriend, and it's like it's not in the same way.
Doesn't he just know?
Well, it's not. No, it's not the same. It's like he starts talking.
That's prune candy, right?
What? Sorry.
Wage roll the she prune candy.
No, that's
Ricky
Ricky
Bobby
Bobby
from Talladega Nights.
In Wayne's World, he speaks language and he stops and the subtitles keep going and he's sitting there. And it's
he's waiting for them, right?
But the subtitle gags have been a thing that
that
Mike
one
Myers
was
has done
like,
since the beginning, kind of.
And then there's one where he goes like Chicho, and then it's like
this long
and he does another subtitle gag, and then she shat on a turtle.
Yeah, that is incredible.
It just keeps forgetting what they're saying. I just love it because it's like they keep finding new things to introduce to the background to interfere with the text.
Yeah, and that scene is amazing.
Yeah, and the whole "don't arigato, Mr.
And all he's like, what? And it's like, no,
sorry, and then he shifts it around.
He move. That is a very clever sight gag. It's. I like it because those are movies that are very near to the millennium. It's in that 90s millennium era, and like no one subtitles have been a thing since the fucking 50s and 60s, and no one thought to do that.
And nobody will ever do that kind of shit again. Like,
well, it's one of those things you can only really do once, or else it's just like, oh well, they're doing the Austin Powers thing. But it's like, it's just crazy. Austin Powers was the first one to think of it.
But that kind of
they just nailed the sight
that
gag
kind of
too.
Breaking the fourth wall stuff you don't see in comedy very much anymore. I find.
No,
not in the same ways. No.
Well, you don't see breaking the fourth wall at all anymore. Like a Deadpool, I guess, kind of.
You know what really pulled it off was Big Mouth too. It had those tiny little fourth wall breaks that were hilarious.
Well, the one that fucking like really was weird that got me was like they end the show and the Netflix thing comes up when it's like 5 seconds till the next episode, and then I'm like, and then the guy's like, he pops up, he says something else, like, oh, you got me. This is just a fucking screen.
Oh, it's the gym teacher. Like, you watching Netflix in there? Can I join you watching the next episode?
Yeah, so that was I liked that. That was funny.
I knocked the wind out of my balls.
Oh my god. I knocked the wind out of my balls.
We both died laughing when we were watching that.
So on that point, check out. I think we've talked about it already on the show, but check out Big Mouth. It's an amazing coming of age story. Oh. It's like Perks of Being a Wallflower or Moonrise Kingdom. It's essentially right in there.
So you guys both don't really typically care for coming of age stories.
Hey,
I just really fucking don't like them because Lucas Robinson.
Depends. I like really good ones.
In university,
Stand By Me is fucking incredible.
Lucas Robinson only liked coming of age movies when we were in university.
Kings of Summer is awesome.
Every night when we wouldn't watch, when we were going to watch a movie, he always made us watch a coming of age movie, and I was just like,
Clerks is technically a coming of age story.
I never came of age, so I don't know what that's like. I can't relate to it at all.
It's like you were 3. It's like now you're running the household, buying groceries, cooking yourself dinner.
Like I never had like that. I never had like that. Oh, like
on that note,
I want to see your boobs. It's like I saw my mother naked when I was like fucking 5 because she was drunk naked all the time.
All the time. Well, that makes you sad. That reminds me of that.
The only reason we joke about Brad's child is because if we didn't, it would be far too upsetting.
You'd have to just kill yourself because it's like
we would just be sitting here like this is so sad. Like I'm upset about how what happened. The only way I can cope with it. I don't know about you two. The only way I can cope with it is to make fun of it and like distance myself from it, like pretend like it's.
The moment he actually breaks down one day from it, it's all over.
Yeah.
Actually, you know how Louis C.K. says like that coming online taking a shit?
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure
taking
like
a fart.
Or farting or something?
Yeah.
And then he's taking a shit.
Taking shit. Yeah, you're right. Taking a shit.
And then I think mine was like my mother was pounding a bottle of vodka laying on the ground like completely naked. And I was like,
you know what's the only thing I can compare to that? Is the saddest movie I ever fucking saw, Manchester by the Sea.
Oh my god.
When they show up him and his brother before like the fire happened and all that garbage. But it's like they show up at the house, and then
the house is on fire.
Well, no. Way before that, like the one guy's wife, like Casey Affleck's brother's wife. They show up at his house after a night of like going out with the kids, and then the son walks in first, and then you just see like they don't even show it. He just stops and he stares at the couch and is like horrified. And then Casey Affleck and his brother walk in, and they see the kid and they're like, what? And they're like, oh fuck. And then the wife, like the connotation is that the guy's wife is sitting like fucking drunk off her ass, lying there naked, like fucking doing something weird. And the kid's just terrified. They're like, oh fuck. And they take the kid upstairs and like, go to bed.
To me, the most heart-wrenching part of that movie is like Casey Affleck goes to the police station and he's like giving his story. He's like, yeah, like we went out. I went out to get more beer because I wanted to keep partying, and I came back.
No, that's not why.
And
his friends went home. He said he's like I went out to get like milk or something crazy. It's like because the whole thing is his wife got pissed at them.
Yeah. Well, but he gets mad. He's like, go get me more beer. He said, and she's like, no, I'm going to bed. And that's why he was so upset because not only did he leave, it was for a selfish reason.
Yeah.
And he's like, I went to go walk and get more beer, and I came back and I forgot to put the thing on the fire, and the house burned down.
And all his kids died.
And all his kids and his wife and everyone died.
No, his wife.
Right, the wife, out. Yeah. So then he's like, and they're like, yeah, like send me to prison. Like he's like, we're not going to send you to prison for an accident. And right as he leaves, he like tries to snatch the cop's gun. He's like trying to blow his own head off, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god,
that movie.
There's no reprieve.
It's just like one of those movies that it's like, why did you write this? Like, why do you want people to feel this overwhelming sadness?
It's just emotional.
I just remember seeing like I was sad towards the beginning, kind of, and like oh, this is kind of a bleak environment and whatever. And then it's like then you see the scene with the house on fire, and then you see the firemen. They cut to a shot of the one fireman like reacting to the kids' burnt bodies, and it's like,
Jesus,
what
Christ.
The fuck is this? And then Casey Affleck is like, what does he do? He has his grocery bags.
And he just drops them and I
can't remember what he does. It's just like, this is fucked up. This is fucking fucked up. People who, God bless people who write shit like that because I think it's very.
No, you drink some of it.
I'll drink some of it. I'm almost done this.
Well, don't pour it all into my thing if Fran's gonna drink some of it.
Yeah, he is.
Well, no, wait until I'm almost done it. For fuck's sake.
He can't have a bunch of milk.
God bless people who write movies like that because I think they're very important artistically and like there's
especially for actors.
And I think there's people who obviously identify with stuff like that. Like obviously, like it's tough for me to identify with. I've never burnt all my kids alive, but like obviously there's somebody who's had a negative experience where like that speaks to them in some way. But it's like that's something that I could never find pleasure in writing ever.
Yeah, right. The other thing that made me. It was like heart-wrenchingly adorable. Brad and I watched it yesterday. It's this video, and you've probably all seen it. It's made rounds on social media. But this video of a dad and his daughter singing "You Got a Friend in Me," and
she's so adorable.
And
that's my daughter in the water.
All Brad could think of was them playing this video at one of their funerals.
Like the kid, like the
like
daughter.
Either the daughter dies, and it's like now they're playing her singing "You Got a Friend in Me" with her dad, and it's like. A friendship will never die. Can't you see it's our destiny?
Well, no.
You got a friend in me.
And then she's like,
oh, yeah.
You got a friend in me. It's like she dies 6 months later.
That would be like
grain cancer.
It would be the equivalent of like
fucking. It would be like it's like a montage. It's like, you got a friend. It's dad singing. It's like the daughter, and then we slowly see her get like more sickly from cancer and leukemia. Yeah. And then eventually it's like her grave.
It'd be like, the equivalent of like the dads in the church watch the thing, and then it's like in South Park when the gay kids keep shooting themselves while the ceremony. It's like several gunshots and people killing themselves while the ceremony's going on.
A friendship will never die. It's like never leave me, Dad.
That song
never leave.
That song only really works with toys because
no, it doesn't. It absolutely.
Well, they can't die.
Absolutely, Randy Newman was writing about a relationship with a parent.
Yeah, but you're gonna die.
Yeah, but it's not. But the whole point isn't about physical. Yeah, it's like our physical, like one of our physical bodies might die.
Yeah, but how does she know if you're still her friend when you're dead? Like, you could be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Because the memories. The whole point is it's about the memories.
Yeah, but she's also gonna die. But then where do the memories go?
In the ether,
the energy of that
will last forever. Yeah.
Well, that's assuming
some
a lot
other
of energy
folks
and
might
ether
be bigger and smarter than I, or stronger and smarter than I am, bigger and stronger.
Like, max that friendship's gonna last is like maybe 150 years.
Way I do.
Well, like extreme.
That's what I'm saying. Like really, like I'm saying max 150 years that relationship.
But I mean, like even with the toy, it doesn't last because Andy gives the toys away when he goes to college.
Yeah, but the toys are still friends with each other.
Yeah, but
there's still friendship going on.
But it's not like the friendship that the song's about, him and Andy.
Yeah, but you don't know that. The song is pretty. Doesn't know.
I will tell you.
Buzz and
the only 2 times I've really cried hard in a movie.
Toy Story 3.
Every time I watch the end of Lord of the Rings and Toy Story 3, it's just like when Andy is driving away, like I am fucking sobbing, like man, my eyes hurt, and I'm like,
you're like,
it's like I watch Manchester by the Sea. I'm like, yeah, I saw my mom take it too, you little bitch. But like, I never had toys, so I feel like
you should love these toys.
Yeah, you should love these toys forever because like. I never had toys or friends or a childhood, so why would you cherish those?
One of my favorite things about Toy Story.
Here's the thing, I like I'm gonna say this because it just sound bad, but I think it's gonna be funny that it sounds bad. I'm gonna give you advice as a dad, you being a dad. I'm gonna give you dad advice.
As a parent, you're gonna give.
No, I'm not a parent. I'm saying I'm giving you advice. Not being a parent, I'm going to give you advice about being a parent.
Yeah, it's going to be worth
Please,
so much.
For the love of God, certain toys that Drew likes, put them in a box and seal them away. When he stops playing with them is what I'm talking about. Put them in a box, seal them away in a place, and keep them forever. Because one thing that I about myself that now I'm realizing that it's like because when you're a kid, you don't give a fuck about anything. A toy has its use, and then when you don't like playing with it anymore, it's like, this thing will never be valuable to me again. But now, like, being a 23-year-old person, I look back, and I'm like, I fucking wish I could just, like, pull out some of my Bionicles that I had. Not to do, like, just to look at them and be like, fuck, were those good times with my Bionicles. And just, like, put them away again and, like, keep them.
I actually have a really interesting story. When I used to have to go back to live in Regina with my mom,
Jesus, we've been heavy on your childhood for the last couple podcasts.
This one last.
It's like a fucking therapy session.
When my mom and dad were still together, they went to Las Vegas. They bought me this little white tiger I called Tico. He was a little white. He was like a Siegfried and Roy.
One of those big furry ones.
No, it was just small like this.
Oh.
He stood upright, like on his haunches. Oh. And I had Tico, and then Tico was like my. Like security. For sobbing,
yeah.
Like essentially, it was like
when things became
like
too
Calvin
much.
and Hobbes was very much based on your actual life,
right? So
if Calvin's parents were just one parent and it was an alcoholic.
So, like for example, like if I was driving when Dad was taking me back to Regina to stay with my mom, I would sob into Tico, and then my mother would also.
Would he eat your tears and make things better? Like
my mom, like Karen. Would always sing "You Are My Sunshine." I can't even stand that fucking song anymore.
Does it make you cry?
Not 2 lines. Like it literally just destroys me.
Yeah. You are my.
No, don't actually don't. Like one time, my sister started singing it. Like I had to get out of the video. I can't. That's like, you know how we always talk about like I bet you have these emotional tics you don't even know about. That's a real one. Like very much put me in a psychosis if I had to listen to the whole thing. Also, I don't know if who wrote that book with the kid and is that You Are My Sunshine? And he's playing with toilet paper, but I can't remember. It's like a...
Oh.
Who's a real famous children's author?
It's Robert Munch, and it's I Love You Forever.
Yeah.
I'll love you forever. I'll love you for always.
Yeah, that's
as long as you're living, my baby you'll be. And then he eventually sings to the mother while she's dying.
Yes, that fucking thing. I can't do that. So those 2 things... Like, if I read that book with that You Are My Sunshine playing in the background, I would go into a psychosis. Like, absolute mental state.
It would be like in the movies where you see someone, like, where everything comes back and, like, it's, like, rewinds back to that moment of, like, where he forgot. That would be what, like, your people would...
I was at a funeral where somebody was saying it live, and to my absolute complete discomfort. I had to plug my ears at a funeral where everyone was listening to this beautiful song because I physically could not. I did like 2 verses and like I was visibly like shaking, and then I was just like I had to cover my ears.
That would be crazy. If you heard that at a funeral.
That is fucking Pavlovian conditioning to the extreme.
Crazy.
It's like because like I think of minor things. Sorry to cut you off on your story, but I think of minor things like every time I drive back into Regina and I see some specific landmarks, I'm like, oh fuck, I have to go back to Luther again, and like it's almost curfew. It's like fuck. I still get that feeling every time I drive back into Regina.
And my poor mother, like Karen, like really loves the song. Like she sang it to all my siblings. Mm-hmm. So for her, it's a point of contention. It's like she hates that I don't like it because, like, for her, it's like this nice song I sang to let me know that everything was going to be okay. Mm-hmm. But to
you, it's signaled going back to your worst nightmare.
Exactly. Anyway, so I took Tico. Obviously, I sobbed, and then all the time that I spent crying in Regina, which was mostly, I drank a lot of water, or else I would get dehydrated. I had a big water management program. I'll get into that later. But I sobbed into this animal, and then after my mother passed away, I got most of her possessions, but some of them were still in storage. And I found Tico, and I hadn't seen Tico in... I have him now. I hadn't seen Tico in... My mom died when I was 8, 9 years.
You gotta take a picture of Tico for me sometime. I would love to see Tico.
I had a replacement Tico that my mother swore was the real thing, but I knew wasn't, and then I found the real Tico, and like I pulled him out of the box, and like he was still very crusty from my tears.
Oh.
And then I broke down a little bit with Tico.
I'm not gonna let Amy watch this one.
And then I held Tico pretty firm for a bit.
Amy gets very emotional very easy. Like at this point of the podcast, she would be trying to end her life because she was so sad. Like, she would have started crying way back like 20 minutes ago. Like, she would have just started crying. And like at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a very powerful moment to find Tico. That was, I guess, the crux of the whole story.
It's actually funny. When I remember
so
now,
weird. I just learned something so new about you. That's so weird.
Thinking about You Got a Friend in Me, we played that at my dad's funeral. That was one of the songs that was like played.
Powerful.
It was that, and it was also like everyone was like kind of trying to keep it together, and then Free and Easy Down the Road got played, and it was like
there was a third song that really blew me up.
Oh, it was another country one, wasn't it?
Yeah, something.
Oh, it was Blue Rodeo, but what song was it?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was one of those. I know, it's like I'm just thinking about it and I'm tearing up a little bit.
And like Jane just stood up at the end of your dad's funeral and like turned around to without saying anything, just to thank everyone. Oh my God. I was just like, oh, that's powerful stuff. Like, I hadn't cried.
And there were so many people there,
I hadn't cried in a very long time.
I hate how crying and, like, being sad is not, you can't control it at all.
No.
Like,
you can control it to a point and then the dam breaks.
Well, it's like, like that's the thing is, like,
eventually
there's this one thing that, like, it's like, well, just like recently, not comparable to funerals at all, but it's like my parents left to go back to South Africa, and I was like, I'll be fine. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking fuck. I don't give a shit. And like, damn nation, like we drove to Medicine Hat because it's like I was like I'm dropping my parents off in Medicine Hat, and then Swane's gonna take the Calgary, whatever. Driving back in the hotel room, and then it's like it came time to say goodbye, and I was like, mother fuck, I don't want to do this, and it's like I was so fine with the idea, and then it's just like all like it's like and I went to go say goodbye to my mom, and it's like my mom broke down. I'm like, it's like I kind of broke down, and then it's like I remember it's like I left the room and I started my dad and my sister left in front of me, and it's like it took like 4 steps out of the room, and I'm just like, I gotta go back, and like ran back and like hugged my mom, and I'm like, I can't, I fucking.
Here's a good one. Speaking of crying, sorry, if you finish your point.
Yeah,
sorry.
And then walk downstairs again, and then it's like. Nothing is worse because like, well, you both know my dad and like you know my dad, and it's like that's a man that like I don't even know if you two can picture him crying right now.
No, I can't. No,
but it's like seeing him break down about like not seeing me, and I was like, and they just fucking died again. It was just like I hate.
Cried?
Oh, like it.
Would
you,
you
like not to say this in like to embarrass anyone, but like
we're going back to
a pathetic cry.
Yeah.
Like sobbing.
Like a weep.
Yeah, like Like if somebody didn't know us and saw us on the side of the street, they'd be like, "That's embarrassing that you're looking like."
Was
that
it one of
right
those
now."
cries where, like when you're a little kid, where you're like?
I don't even know how to describe it. Just like I
you know when little kids cry,
I would say
and they do
pathetic.
That,
Like trying to catch their breath.
I don't know. I would say somebody who's about to have their head stomped till it was oblivion, but and like knew there was no chance that wasn't gonna happen. That like pathetic, just like totally a pathetic cry, and like I don't know, just seeing somebody like that, like I said, you two know my dad. And like know that it's like you can't even imagine him crying, and it's like seeing somebody that, and I also see him as like a pretty put together person, and it's like seeing somebody like that break down like that is just like fuck. And then it's like, and then like me, who is emotionally not nearly that strong, also breaks down. It's just, it sucks. I hate it. I hate that it's like
crying is so good sometimes.
Crying is amazing, but it's like I hate that sometimes. Well, like I said, if I guess I should say it. When I have control over crying, I don't cry ever. Like I will never cry willingly.
I don't think I've ever really cried in a movie. Maybe Gran Torino made me sob pretty hard.
There's a movie I saw recently, I think that got me pretty good.
I watched a movie pretty recently. I had a tear in the theater, but I don't know what it was.
I watched the first time I watched Toy Story with Drew, and like Drew was like sitting in my lap, and You Got a Friend in Me came on. I was like, oh god. No, what I wanted to bring up though was, do you know what the phenomenon of like the dark night of the soul is? It's like the first time that you realize that you're fully like, I am fucking alone in this life, no matter what, and it's like usually a pretty intense like sob. I'll give you my example, and then that might give you, because I want to ask what your dark nights of the soul are. But mine was grade 9. I'm away at boarding school. My mom has left. My family's gone. I'm in this little dorm room. My roommate hadn't gotten there yet. I just completed football practice, and I was all like tired and sore, and like I felt like stupid because I hadn't never played football before, and like I'm all alone. I don't really know anyone there, and I locked the door, and I just remember sitting there in this dark room and just fucking bawling like a little bitch until I went to sleep in this dark room, like huddled up in my pillow, like just bawling my eyes out because I felt like just so fucking alone and like helpless. I'm just like, I've just reduced to a fucking mess. Yours is probably very much like 3 years old and...
No, I don't. Do you want to say something, Fran, first?
Well, we were talking about movies that made us cry. Just like most recent one, Justice League. Weird to say that because like the
oh
movie,
yeah,
it's not a very good movie, but
I teared up. When though?
Well, for me, it was just, I guess, like maybe because I had a knowledge of the history of this, but it's like when Barry Allen at the very end goes to his dad, like the Flash when he goes to his dad and he says, I got this thing at this thing, and then his dad, who's in prison for killing his mom, is like, fuck yeah. He's like, yes, you fucking did that thing, and he's just so the reaction from Ridley Crudup is just so fucking genuine. And and I guess earlier on in the movie he said, never come see me again. Like, never, don't come see me again.
Don't waste your time.
And then when he comes back and he's like, fuck yeah, son. Like, that just got
Barry Allen's like, don't ever say that again, Dad. Like, I'm going to keep coming.
Yeah, and then like that part actually like not crying, but like just, I was just like, oh my god, this is fucking beautiful.
Dark Night of the Soul, like it's
like about, like, it's crying, but it's also like, you realize that like, all you have is you yourself and I at the end of the day. Like, you are alone. It's like, no matter what, you live alone. You were born alone. You live alone. You die alone.
I don't know if this gets like, is all of that rolled into one, but I had an incident within the last year.
Goku Day.
No, sorry, the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right.
And I won't get into it, but
not Goku Day.
No, not Goku Day.
Previous to Goku Day.
Yeah, no, Goku Day, I guess. Yeah, we'll call it Goku Day. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, I didn't catch the reference at first. And that was the first time, besides someone dying, that I actually just cried about something. Mm. But I I guess like when I was in university, I felt very out of place. And then when we started doing Prehistoric Productions, I felt a lot more put together. And then I've always been a really confident person, and this particular circumstance like just absolutely wore me down. It was very humbling, which was, I think, a very powerful moment.
It's good to be humble.
I hope that if I look back over my entire lifetime, that day or two of my life will be like very quintessential to the trajectory of my entire existence, which is great. It had to happen. It was, yeah. I'm more and more becoming a person that believes in destiny, because I do believe in karma, but karmically it didn't really make much sense. So, at least from my personal opinion, but it was like to go, and we talked about this personally. The three of us talked about this particular event on end.
Well, for basically an entire 36-hour, both ways of the road trip.
Anyway, so it was just like to go from such a high to, I never felt so low in my entire life. Not my mom dying or any of the stuff that happened in my childhood, obviously, because I wasn't really that built up when that stuff happened, or any of those incidences like this.
Shattered you to
just absolutely fucking shattered me into nothing. And like now when I cry, it's painful. Like it hurts, because like I cry so infrequently and so rarely, and I'm usually on such the other end of the spectrum that when it happens, it's like it hurts. Like my muscles hurt and my brain hurts, and I get lightheaded, and like it's a very powerful experience.
It's scary. I'll say, okay, like the closest I can come up with, because I had that little mental breakdown like a year ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And that
a mini mental breakdown. We'll say
that
for
little
the
thing was would be the closest I came, and not crying for a very, very long time, and to the point where you've forgotten what it is like to be so sad that you cry, is a fucking terrifying experience.
Oh, it is.
Because then all you want to do when you realize that fact, all you want to do is like, I want to cry, because like I want to remember what it feels like to, because like you're aware of the fact that crying only happens when you reach the state of like emotional, like you can't contain anything anymore, and when you reach that state where you're like, all I want to do is cry, and you physically can't cry, you get so scared because you're like, will I ever cry again? And then you're just like, will I ever feel emotions to that degree again? And it's just like this awful fucking feeling. And then
it's like that like a numbness.
It's
just like
scary.
I lived in such a mind over matter, like
absolutely.
I got in such a mode where it was like,
I think all three of us very much.
I'm so in control, and like my intelligence is such that I'm like, I can overcome any of this as long as I reason it, and it's just like they're just reaching, and like I personally, I'm always like, like I'm mad about something, strive to not be mad, or I'm sad about something, strive not to be sad, or and like it's like
spin it in a different way.
Shay especially, like, it's always pushing me to like, you're mad at your dad, stop being mad. Like
just intelligence, just be smart about it.
Always be logical, always be reasonable, use reason and logic. And it's just like, it's very powerful when that's how you are all the time, and you try not to let your
passion rules reason, but the only sovereign we should allow to govern ourselves is reason.
Agreed. Totally, that really sums it up.
But like I gotta say,
I just like fucking got so overcome
that like I understand better now than I did like a year ago, that emotions are like it's very important to try to experience things when you're experiencing them, and like because like I totally see, like when you said it's like I 100% was, oh, you're mad, just don't be mad anymore, just make yourself not mad anymore. You're sad, don't be sad anymore. Like, just force myself to not feel those emotions. And I think for me, it's like just growing up with my mom and my two sisters, and like my dad to an extent. It's like they were people who were way more comfortable with being emotional. And so that just made me to the point where it's like, I don't want to be emotional, because I don't like when they're emotional. So I don't want to be emotional with them. I don't want to do this huggy shit. I don't like this. And so that made me very much like not want to distance myself from that as much as I could, so that if they were being emotional, I could just sit there and be the rational one, so that like if one of them needed advice, I could be like, well, here's what you should do logically. But yeah, it's like I said, it's just like you just get to the point where it's like, if you get so removed from feeling emotions when you're supposed to be feeling them, it's not good. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
Nobody should feel, and I mean, it goes back to the whole stigma of like mental illness and all that shit. It's like, it's very good to feel emotion when you're feeling it and try to like experience it and like all that stuff. It's like repression is a very bad thing. Like an extreme repression is a unhealthy to a people shoot themselves in their fucking face thing.
One thing for me that I don't know if it kind of piggybacks off that, but after having my father pass away very suddenly at a like very young age, for not very young, like young for him, and like I was still like wasn't even 21 yet, so like obviously very sudden and traumatic and whatever. And for me, like after getting through that and experiencing that, my like bar for what I tolerate and have sympathy for, like it's kind of made, it's like, am I just an unfeeling psychopath now or what? Because like people are like crying about their dog. It's like, it's a fucking dog. Get the fuck over it. Did your dad die? No? Then shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. And it's like very much like that's like my internal dialogue of like, if unless it's like an 8 or higher, don't bother even talking about it.
My thing, I totally am on the same page with you with that kind of stuff. I guess where as a different thing for me is like, for example, when my grandfather died, it's like, it's not really a sad thing. Like, he lived an amazing life. And like, when I wept at his funeral, but I didn't weep because I was sad. I weep because like, my brother told like these amazing stories about him. And I don't know why sadness is the reaction to that. I guess
I think it's just a natural thing when it's like, whatever it may be, but it might be something like, I never get to have him tell me that story, or
sure,
I never get to converse with or see this person who I love a bunch, and it's more like, it's less like, oh, like, I'm so sad that he's gone, and like there was so much more left of his life to live. It's more like, ugh, like I'm gonna miss that guy.
Yeah,
I mean, on your point, I guess the way I see it is like, I think because I was very much always that way, where it's like I've always been somebody who believed in putting things into context and putting things into perspective, and so like I've always been the guy who was like, oh, your dog died, well, you know what, people's fucking, the Jews, 6 million Jews died. 6 million Jews died during World War II. You're gonna say you're sad about that? That's fucking sadness. During World War II, that's fucking sadness. And like I was always that way until I got to the point where, and then like I said, it's like I had no respect for, I don't know if I had no respect, but I had very little respect for emotions in general, until like I got to this point where I got so scared of not like, because you take emotions for granted for such a long time. It's like, oh, I feel sad in this, but so you never think about the fact that you're feeling sad or you're feeling angry about things or whatever. And then when you try to suppress that shit, you're not. It's not like you're taking things for you're taking it for granted and then you're suppressing it. So it's like a double suppression for such a long time.
There's a reason they call it bottling it up.
Yeah,
right?
and that is exactly what it is. And it's like and then you get to this point where, like me, it's like I just had this whole kerfuffle, and then it's like all of a sudden I just saw the value in emotions and the beauty in emotions, and like I just the whole like humanity and emotions and like the connection there, just 100% like that is it. Human beings are emotions, and like that is what makes us, that's what separates us from the machines and the animals and all this shit. Not even necessarily the animals, but like that's what makes us different. And I guess the way we can appreciate that shit makes us different. And then I got to the point where it's like, because you talk about, it's like people's dogs die and it's like they shouldn't care. It's like I'm now at the point where it's like, good, feel sad that your dog died. If you want to, and if you want to love your dog, and if you want to feel like it's sad, feel sad. Like I can never tell somebody. I never want to tell anybody not to feel sad about anything anymore. And I mean, I guess obviously it comes with some, because there's people who. Because it's like if you loved your dog and your dog died, you feel sad. It's like you love that dog died, you feel sad. Like that's, I understand. I'm not gonna try to. I'm not gonna, whatever. It's fine.
Tell you how
but
to
it's
feel,
like,
yeah.
But there are certain people who it's like, I know there are people who like something will happen like that, and then they will use that opportunity to
go on Facebook,
and
it's like
get likes,
and then it's taking advantage of emotions and feelings and things, and it's like because. Like I said, I have this new appreciation for emotions and feelings, and nothing is worse than, like, that is basically spitting in the face of genuine feelings and genuine emotions and genuine loss and genuine whatever. And it's like, if you're somebody who's like, you had this dog that you never give a fuck about your whole life, and then you had it for 10 years, and then it dies, and you're like, oh, this dog I had for 10 years died. It's like, fuck you. You give a shit about this dog for 10 years, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're so upset because it was part of your life or whatever. It's like, yeah, fuck you. Like there are people who are actually feeling loss about, like maybe there's another guy who had a dog that he actually fucking took care of every day.
There's lots of people like your aunts. It's like, you never talked to your aunt for 20 years. You really care.
And now you're doing this Facebook post. It's like, you're spitting in the face of people who are like actually experiencing loss and like actually had emotions and actually had feelings and stuff. And it's like,
I almost take it a step further. Like, at least with my experience, it's almost like for a while, right after my dad died, it was very much like beyond just like emotions, like what you're sad about. It's like, oh, like you're getting up in arms about. It's like I'm late and you're mad. It's like, did anybody fucking die? No, then why the fuck are we even talking about it? You know, it's like my bar for like what was important beyond like for sure sadness, but just in general what mattered. And even still, it's kind of fucked up.
Oops.
And I don't know if it's something that like I should be striving to like have be different, or if it's like,
well, no, it's
on my level. You know,
it's got to do with context once again. Like nothing is worse. Well, I guess it's on both ways. Nothing is worse than when people take shit too seriously, but then it is also awful when people don't take things seriously. Because like I said, like with me, it's like I've always been somebody of context and putting it into perspective. Like if somebody was like, I'm gonna fail this test, my whole life is ruined. It's like, are you the dumbest person who's ever fucking lived? If you fail this test, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. It's like, fuck you for being upset about this. It's like, this is weird that you're even upset about this. It's like, think about it for 4 seconds. Yeah. Put this into context of your entire life. This doesn't matter. But obviously you don't yell at the person that way. It's just like, you understand that it's like, they're stressed about it. They're not going to, you saying that is not going to help their stress. So it's like, you're just like, you try to, I guess, bring that point across in a more constructive, positive way of like, well, everybody will still love you if you fail, and we're also gonna be. You try to say it in a positive way, so it's like they try to bring it. Instead of like forcing perspective on them, try to get them to find that perspective themselves. But yeah, it's like I totally see where you're coming from. It's like I've always very much been that way of like putting things into perspective, into a grander perspective.
What's the real effect here?
Yeah, but it's weird. It's like. But like I said, just more recently, I've come to appreciate the microcosms more than I used to. I guess.
Right, and I think on that note, we should probably.
Oh yeah, we're
a little over time. I think we're gonna go and maybe play some Agricola.
No, I'm gonna play Grand Theft Auto 4.
Agricola.
No,
I don't know what that is.
Agricola.
No.
Oh, is that board game?
Yeah.
Agricola.
Did you buy that board game?
No, Brad did. We're gonna play Agricola. Have a good night.
We're not playing Agricola. Well, these two might. I'm not.
We are. We are playing.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I'm a green armadillo.